Hey guys, so this video is going to be mostly about psychology and why and how. Basically, it was mostly on the how I'm able to pass these problem challenges literally, and even how one of the students mentioned this in my Discord community is how I'm able to pass problem challenges so fast but risking so small. Now you might be thinking, how fast and how small am I actually talking about? Passing in one day phase, well, literally, and I've made so many videos on this, right? You can check my, if you're new to my channel, check out the videos, right? You'll see many challenges passed within one day, 2 days, phase ones as well. Phase twos, again, this one was recently, well, I just posted this one today, but I forgot to obviously post it on the 30th when I got it. Phase one passed, it was literally, check out my videos of me passing this phase one and phase two. Passed in 2 days, phase two passed in one day, and again, risking so small, right? Obviously it's all about having a good edge, but then I look at it as edge comes in different levels, at different levels. Someone who has a 50% win rate with a 1 to 2 risk to reward, the edge is there, definitely, but in my eyes it's not definitely a strong edge. Of course it's not, because what is the definition of edge? And I would like to, obviously people will say what definition of edge is, basically obviously what gives you an edge over the market to win money, extract money from the markets. So basically whenever you're in a little bit of drawdown or whenever you're placing a trade, it's basically us versus the markets, right? So what edge do we have over the market? Just where a casino may have over a gambler. So when you have a 50% win rate, 1 to 2 risk, it doesn't matter what strategy you're trading, the edge, with that kind of an edge, I'm sorry, in my eyes, that's why I've never liked a 1 to 2. Obviously it depends on the individual as well, psychology and all that. Mine basically is like a 1 to 16 RR, 1 to 8, sorry, I aim for a 1 to 8 RR, but then the way I manage my risk turns out to be a 1 to 16, 1 to 12, 1 to 14. That's why if I'm taking a few trades, and you can see with the student success, like this was on the equity curves of my, when I was passing, I think this was 7% on the first in one day, and there's 1% remaining that just came out and passed it, right? So look at the equity curve, and then I think I had someone, a student, yeah, I don't see a curve, I see a cliff, but you can see the little dots, right? I see, this is how important it is. This is the level of my edge, nothing to taunt, nothing to boast about, but it gives, this is what gives my psychology or keeps me mostly at peace. I think the best way to probably even say is, the definition of edge, in the most simplest form that I can think of, is what gives you the most, which edge gives you the most amount of peace. A trading system that gives you the most, it should be able to give you the most amount of peace, right, while extracting money from the markets. Does that make sense? Like, if I have a 1 to 2 risk reward and I lose 3 trades in a row, for me personally, I know my next trade, one, even if it wins, I'm still in drawdown. Even if I lose 3 trades in a row, 4 trades in a row, how frustrating is that? Even if you lose, even if you win the next 2 trades, okay, if you win the next 2 trades, you break even if you're 4 trades in drawdown. 4% in drawdown, 1% per risk. Even if you win the next 2 trades, you're at drawdown. But imagine the stress is, what if you don't win the next 2 trades? And that's not a system that I wanted, right? Now, one of the ways I handle psychology, because I want to speak about this as well. Let me just show you something. I'm sure I'm never really gone into too much of this. Yes, it's a poker chip, but no, I'm not a gambler. I've never gambled in my life. I've never played poker in my life. I can't even play poker in my life. I'm not a poker player, right? If I just turn this camera a little, you see all these poker chips, right? So just wanted to show you that, and I've even got more here, way more than you can see, right? So there's some stacked up here as well. And what I do, that this is, and I was even speaking to ChatGPT about this, right? And the value of this. These poker chips are my lifelines. And so whenever, the way I manage risk and the kind of risk to reward I bring, I basically start every single prop firm with around 40 lifelines, right? 40 lifelines. So I'll take 40 chips, place them over the computer desk, my computer desk, and why do I do that, right? So if I, and okay, basically I'll line them all up so visually I can see that even if I lose one of these, I mean what I just showed you earlier from the test, you know, the all the other chips, when you visually look at it, you know, it's not, I couldn't get the full chips in there. What I'm trying to say is, if I lose just one of these, and I'll just put them back in the pile, not in the pile but in another pile where I'm trying to extract them as many chips, because that's the challenge for me now. I don't care the money side, that doesn't really affect me. I'm not bothered about the passing, the challenge, everything's nice and all that, right? But right now, obviously, the way I just changed the game, I'm trying to gamify as much as possible. My aim all will be now is trying to extract as many chips as I possibly can of these. When I lose, so visually, so it's like this again, I was speaking to ChatGPT and he said this will create discipline on a different level. Why? Because you know when you overtrade, well, imagine every time you overtrade, you know you have to take one chip and put it back in the pile, and you're gonna be like, when you put it in the back, if you're overtrading, for example, you're gonna be like, what the hell am I doing? Stop right now, I don't want to give more chips. And plus, when you look at all these visually, again, ChatGPT mentions, you can fully then get a better understanding of actually how many trades you have, because it's easy. Like if we see a 50k 100k account, we've got 10% drawdown, right? But really, what does that mean? We don't really see our drawdown, we just see numbers on a screen, doesn't mean anything. So that's just from a psychology standpoint. I've seen a massive difference since I've started using these. My advice is try it out at least. Poker chips are cheap, really, you know, they're not even expensive, but what they'll do for you is crazy, right? What they'll do for you is crazy. For me, I just look at, and especially when I was trading now, even someone might say, oh well, how many potato chips do you need? Like you're gonna have a massive pile. No, because think about it, even if you have 100 lifelines, that's 100 chips if you just give 1% per trade on your personal account now speaking, right? If you're trading 2% per trade, there's 50 chips. So there's no way you should be even going to 300 chips or 300 lifelines, because obviously that you could do that. You're playing extra safe, then I don't think that's really much of a chance to grow your personal account. But in terms of prop firms, right, let me just minimize this now. I think we'll move because I just wanted to show, you know, the main I was speaking about was the potato chips, the lifelines. So coming back to the point, right? So I want to mark out some of these. So obviously market's going to open very, very soon. This is Euro USD, and I'm just going to go over like a example. Would it be a Don Aslam video if I didn't? So you can see even a nice move from here, right? If I drag these across all the way to the back, you can just see my zones. Look at this. perfect zones. Look at this. There, I mean, I can draw them from here and they'll just take care of themselves from the past. Now another thing I want to mention where people go wrong, they'll start from the left, they'll start drawing the zones and they'll drag them, you know, down here till the present moment. No, you start from the right and you drag the zones to the left always, because focus where price is currently at. Think about it. Why am I going to draw a zone from here, right? I need to see in the present moment, bring it over here, starting from here, and then dragging it to the back. Does it align with anything, right? Now some people might disagree. Trust me, that's a hidden secret. I'm telling you, hidden golden nugget that I'm telling you. That's where a lot of people go wrong. If so many people start from the left here and drag the zones to the right, start from the right, look where price is currently at, and then work your way to the left. I mean, price was obviously very bearish on Thursday for Euro USD. You can see a large, huge dump of the market, right? But you can even see a nice engulfing. But if you go to a much small time frame on the bearish candle, remember, we are very bearish, so why would I focus on buys? I am only focused on sells. I can go to the 5 minute time frame, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to just dissect this quickly as possible for you guys. What can we see over here? I can see many bearish engulfing candles. We'll call these green, right? This one over here, this one over here as well. Let's bring that back in. Bearish engulfing here, not the best, but bearish engulfing over here. Not only that, what else does it do? It creates a bearish reversal pattern, known as a head and shoulder. So engulfings, head and shoulder pattern, we've got all the tools that we need, and then obviously price takes care of itself from there. But you could have just entered from a bearish engulfing just from this candle, or even this one. My advice is use a little bit of a bigger time frame. Don't go too small, because you'll just fall flat on your face, because small time frames hold less value or less authority on the markets, I should say. By the way, if anyone is interested in a one-to-one mentorship, link will be in the video description. You can check that out as well. Now again, coming back to psychology, right? It's just, this is a Sunday. Markets are obviously yet to still open, so I thought I'll make this a psychology Sunday, or a Sunday psychology video for you guys. And I think we might start uploading more of these kind of videos, because another thing as well, a lot of people say psychology is the #1 thing, right? Meaning it's worth more than have a strategy and things like that. I disagree. I've always disagreed to this, simply because how can you have great psychology if you don't have a great system, a good system, trading system, right? Now, even if you have, someone might say, well, if you got a 10% system, winning system, and you got poor psychology, of course you're gonna fail. But if you got great psychology, you're gonna win. I just think it's not even about your psychology that's required. It's the level of edge, and I think that's the missing. So when people say it's edge that's edge is important. You need to have an edge in the beginning, then you need to work on your psychology and all that. That makes sense. I think it's not having a edge. It depends what level is your edge at. To simply put it, right? And then obviously after that, it just becomes, what level is your like imagine this, right? I'm giving an example like this. Imagine you're a swordsman, right? Let's go like a few hundred years back. Let's say with a sword, if you're a swordsman, you got there's a normal common weak sword, and you got a legendary sword that's sword in the stone, whatever you want to call it, right? It doesn't matter who you give that sword to. If they've not got the correct level of wielding or how to use that sword, you can just pretty much give it to anyone, even like this legendary sword. They won't know how to use it, but in the right hands, it'll be used to its maximum capability, right? I think just like that, edge is like that as well, and people get misunderstanding that it should be aligned with psychology. Really, of course, it depends on the individual. I hope this it makes sense. What I'm trying to say is, so when you have a strategy, what level is it at? And there's different things, that parameters, right? I'm just trying to touch on. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Like, there's different areas that will affect the level of edge of a strategy. So I'll give you an example: the break and retest. Like, let's just ICT strategy, which I don't like. Simple people. Some people go for like 1-3s, 1-4s, 1-2s, 1-1s. By applying, let's just say, for example, fair value gaps, it might take the level of edge to 1-5, maybe. For me, I just think it's a level 1 edge, because first of all, why do so many people fail? If it's level 10 out of 10 edge, having the best edge over the market, then why do so many people fail? I think ICT himself fails. He likes to talk a lot, but I think he fails himself. I believe if you see the Robbins Cup, right? Even 99% drawdown. If anyone doesn't know what the Robbins Cup is, it's the World Championship in trading, right? World Championships for trading. So, anyways, what I'm trying to say is, for me personally, let's speak about my edge. What level is that, right? I have a 40% win rate, pretty much, almost 60-70% when its markets are great. I lose half, I always win double. So if I'm risking half a percent, I lose a quarter. That's why if I lose a trade, the equity push to a downside is not, it's tiny. But when I win, boom, I hit like a 1 to 16 or 1 to 15, 14, 1 to 12. So that's an edge itself. And another edge for me is obviously psychology takes care of itself. I don't have to worry. I know. I just have to look at these potato chips, look at these chips, and just put them, use them as look at the lifelines. This is also obviously part of my psychology, but it is an edge. Time, right? Having a knowing that I can pass these challenges in a short amount of time is an edge. Knowing that, not doing that, knowing that is an edge. It calms me down. I don't have to chase. I'm trying to pass it within a few days. No, I know if I stick to my rules, the edge will take care of itself. Time will take care of itself. The speed that I pass these challenges in. I start with 40 lifelines. Any platform challenge I do, I start with 40 lifelines, which is insane, right? A lot of the professional traders, will tell you if you lose 10 trades in a row, you have a broken system. Do you think I'm going to lose 40 in a row with a 1 to 16 RR system with 40% in worse bad? Oh, another I want to touch on as well. What do we really even mean by when the markets are bad and when the markets are good? So when our 30% win rate, win rate drops to like 30%, in great markets it goes to like 60-70%, which obviously what mine does. I want to touch on something, right? I was actually having this talk with one of the students as well. Know the volume that enters the markets. Know the volume. Let me just bring something in for you guys. Look at this, right? So basically, just want to know the volume. I just have this conversation with ChatGPT. We enter it in November now, so volume is going to be high, but not low. Obviously, not very low. Nothing crazy. So you can, and when it says size up, doesn't mean position size. I mean, it just means your stop loss. Increase the size of your stop loss. How many people actually do that? How many people actually reduce the size of stop loss when the market volume is very low? And then what this end up doing is they'll blame the strategy and they start strategy hopping, and this is where people go wrong. What I'm about to tell you, right? For example, let's just say we start back testing in September, October, November. Let's just say we start back testing then, right? And we figured out our stop loss size. Our average stop loss, let's just say for UJ or EU is, on a random number, 10 pips. Is our random stop loss size. When that happens, and then we've got our back tested data, my stop loss size is going to be 10 pips, we're going to do this, I'm going to aim for like a 1 to 4, 1 to 5, and we'll start live trading in December, right? Let's just say December, first month, we're going to start trading in now. Because the volume is so low, do you think our 10 pip stop loss is now going to hold? No. Now was the time to make a refinement of reducing the stop loss size to like 5 pips, or maybe 6 pips or 7 pips. So, minimizing the stop loss size, keeping the TP the same, 1 to 4. But where people go wrong is because the markets don't move as much now, and they probably hit like a 1 to 1, 1 to 2, and you're thinking the stop loss size is so big, and what you should have actually done was look at how much volume is coming in per month. You'd be like, what's happened here? My strategy doesn't work anymore. I'm not hitting my TPs. Time to strategy hop. Now, let's just say I've switched my strategy now because it's failed, right? Now let's just say I bring in no, I don't want to bring in ICT. I don't trade that. I will never trade that. I don't want to mention. Let's just say I start trading ICT. Again, now the volume is low. Now remember, I'm speaking from a perspective that I do not know about volume. I do not know about all this. So now it's like, okay, I'm doing my back testing again for December. I've changed my strategy. I'm doing my back testing again for December. Okay, stop loss now is going to be 5-6 pips. I'm going to go for a typical 1 to 2, 1 to 4, even call it. Let's say 1 to 4. And now we're collecting my data, and now I'm going to start in January. But what happens in January? Volume has gone high again, and I did not know. So what happens? That little small stop loss I was using because I collected the data from December, what you really should be doing is collecting your whole data for the year, past year. I've had data for the last 2 years. Well, not these 2 years, but back in 2022, 2021, and all that. From them last 2 years, 2 years before that, I'm trying to say. So basically, then our ICT strategy fails. I mean, I think it fails anyway. But I know there's gonna be a lot of ICT traders out there, but trading should be simple, guys. None of this. I mean, the ICT can't trade his own strategy well himself. That's honest truth. So look at this. Volume's gone high again. Now we start getting, now we're like, first when the market was low, our TPs are not getting hit because there's less volume. Now the high volume, now our stop losses keep getting hit. Does that make sense? So now it's like, you know what, strategy doesn't work anymore. I need to refine the strategy again. Now we're switching for the third time. We're switching strategies for the third time. So now let's say I've collected my data for January. I've entered February with a new strategy. Supply and demand, let's just call it, right? Supply and demand. Now, because the previous month was good, the volume was high and it matches the current month, we might start winning a few trades or start breaking even. Now I'm thinking, you know what, we've got something going on for us here. Next month comes again, we start performing well, start doing alright. I'm not saying necessarily you have to start making profits straight off the bat. Some people do, but I think when people say, I've noticed when you these trading videos or podcasts, they'll be like, yeah, in the beginning I made a certain amount of profits and all that, then I just give it all back. Yeah, I think this is one of the possible reasons. They was entering this phase where prices consistently the same amount of volume, and then when these are moments like these when the volume changes again, and now it's time to give them money back, and then you back test, then it changed again. Like, don't look at the high volume, medium volume, low volume, very low. No, let's count how many times volume changes in the year. Let's see here. Same, right? These 3 months are the same. There's a change, medium volume, and there's a change again, high volume. There's a change again, medium. Now, look what this does here, right? There's high volume, then you adjust to medium volume, then you just because then you at this moment here, you'll be like, I'm already familiar with this, I'm experienced with this. So when you start getting used to this, then you're like, when you come into June medium volume, then you're like, I've faced something similar like this, but only once, or not that much experience, but then boom. Like if you started in January, like New Year ambition, New Year resolution, I'm gonna start trading and all that. So you've experienced medium volume and high volume, but for the first time ever, you're gonna experience low volume. And then it's like, because this is like a fast-paced market, and then boom. Right? And then it goes even lower. How insane is that? And then from very low to very high. That is crazy. You're just gonna get flattened. You're just gonna get run over, right? You're just gonna get flattened. Crazy. But you want to definitely take that into consideration. I don't want to make this video too long. It's supposed to be a short video. I think I mentioned at the beginning of this video. It's supposed to be a short video, ending up being 23 minutes. But I hope you found value from this. Like, comment, subscribe, share. If you want to learn one-to-one from my unlimited one-to-one mentorship, once in the Discord community, I even also, guys, tons and tons of value. Just recently uploaded the course, so as well, 13 videos in this, super detailed. Check it out. Link will be in the video description for everything. I'm out.